Namaste and welcome. So today we are going to talk about the Ayurvedic mind-obesity connection, and we'll start with Vavya Prakriti. So with Vavya Prakriti, the primary dosha involved is Avalampaka Kapha, the flow agility, and Pachaka Agni gets affected. That's the Pradhanika Karana, which essentially is there's a hindrance in the processing of gross particles as a result of the dosha imbalance. And the krimi or pathogens involved they could be parasites or fungus or bacteria, which are aerobic, anaerobic, gram-positive, or gram-negative. And if we look at the Anubandha Karana, the secondary cause, it's the vritti or mental fluctuations, especially pramana. And the Viprakrishta Karana or forced cause is generally Manasaroga, the mental infirmity. So this is where the mind or manas comes into play. For the Vayavya Prakriti in particular, it is in the form of Brahma, which could be anxiety or stress eating or binge eating, things like that. The main dhatu involved is Asti dhatu, the interstitial fluid, and the Kai Vaigunya is generally the compromised location of the pupusa, which are the lungs. And the srota, main one involved, is Astivaha srotas, Agati, the bronchi. The bhavas or signs, shortness of breath is common. And the indriyartha vikritis or sense alterations could be a feeling of dry skin. And the angavaya vyavrikiti is physical alteration in terms of the rolls in the back. The fat accumulates there primarily for this prakriti, but it could also be in other places. And the dravya of choice here is vasa and tulsi, due to the karmas of the dosha prashamana, controlling the respective dosha in the form of shotagna reduction, and dhatu pradushana, detoxifying of the dhatus, which is important to avoid the recurrence of it, is lekanya, removing. So the dravyas help in these karmas. And then lastly, with the tripod of life, we have hita ahara, which is going to be beneficial food, include almonds, blueberries, organic peanuts, and the ahita ahara, or strawberries, refined sugar, and fish. These aggravate the condition. And the nidra, mental state, rajas, remaining flexible, just going with the flow. And lastly, we have brahmacharya, controlling the senses, especially of stubbornness. So just being aware and trying to avoid being stubborn in various situations. So with that, we will move on to the Akashiya Prakriti. Primary dosha involved is Bodhaka Kapha. The intelligence agility. Main Agni involved is Pachika Agni. The same krimi are involved in Akashiya Prakriti. The mental fluctuation, though, is more of a stagnation. Don't feel like doing anything, don't feel like getting up, when generally they're quite active. Under balanced conditions, the mental infirmity or manasaroga is apatantrika. It could be in the form of meal timing inconsistencies, eating in a hurry, and not chewing properly as a result as well. So this is the Viprakrishta Karana, forced cause. Main dhatu is also Asti dhatu. The Ka Vaigunya, compromised location in Akashiya Prakriti, tends to be the Upavrika, the adrenals, and main srota is also Astivaha. The Agati origin, though, is mainly found in the portal vein, and the bhavas or signs are burning out easily. And the Indriyartha Vikati, sense alterations in the sense of smell for foul odor. Physical alterations include having love handles, which is excess fat in this particular areas right above the hips and the back. And the dravya of choice here for Akashiya Prakriti is Triphala Gugulu and Amalaki. And the dosha and dhatus which we want to have the karma and these dravyas act upon to create is Shotahara, a draining karma, and Chedana karma, expelling as well. So the combo of these is particularly helpful. And then lastly, tripod of life, which includes Hita Ahara, almonds, blackberries, and tangerines, avoiding Ahita Ahara, lime, orange, and beef, mental state, try to have that consistency in meal timings, in eating healthy foods, and also brahmacharya in the form of controlling senses. And then lastly, we will move on to Apya, Prakriti. The primary dosha involved is Kledaka Kapha, expansion, agility. Agni, Pachika Agni, same creamy involved. However, the mental state here is overthinking. This could be overthinking what to eat, what to do, exercise, not exercise, etc. And the Manasaroga following that is the Murcha, which is eating emotions away, mindlessly eating, etc. Astidhatu is involved, and the Ka Vaigunya here, or compromised location in Apya Prakriti, tends to be the subcutaneous tissue, tvak, in the Astivaha Srotas, originating in the splenic vein, and it is evident from the bhavas, the cellulite in particular for this Prakriti, accumulates easier than other Prakritis. Not to say they can't accumulate in the others. The Indriyata Vikritis, feeling heavy, heavy sensations, heavy to get up, etc. Physical alteration, chunky thighs, so the fat accumulates especially in the thigh area, but could also accumulate in other places. Here, the dravya of choice would be nirgundi, due to its pachana karma and anulomana karma as well, processing and recalibrating. And then lastly, the tripod of life here. So we have hitahara, black sesame, walnut, and kumquat. Ahitahara, dairy, eggs, and chicken. And nidra, mental state, consistency is key. So making sure that there is also consistency in meal timings, consistency in food choices, etc. And lastly, brahmacharya, controlling the senses of ego in particular. And this also includes vanity. Next, we have Taijasa Prakriti. Primary dosha involved is Tarpaka Kapha, the continuous agility. There's a hamper in that. And the Agni affected is Sadhaka Agni, so the processing of neurohormones is affected. Here, the creamy tend to be aerobic or anaerobic pathogens, and that could include bacteria, gram-positive, gram-negative, parasites, or yeast. For the Anubandha Karana, the secondary cause, we have Viparyaya, misconstruing situations, misconstruing the perception of different foods. It could be various things. Viprakrishta Karana, force causes Unmada, and this could be in the form of addictions, and that could be addictions to any substance, including food or particular foods, and even panic eating as well. The dhatu involved, main one is rasa dhatu, the intercellular fluid, and the ka vaigunya for this prakriti tends to be this in the sira, especially in the intracranial nerves, the vagus nerves. The main srota involved is rasavaha srotas, agati being the superficial temporal extracranial nerves, and the signs generally double chin. Not to say that they can't occur in other prakriti, but more so that Taijasa prakriti is more prone to the double chin and accumulating fat in that area. And the Indriyata Vrikriti, sense alterations, feeling grouchy, and it could be for no reason apparently, but and the previous things we covered are the mental infirmities, they all come into play. And this is more so vulnerable for the Taijasa Prakriti. And the physical alterations are generally the neck rolls. So in the back of the neck, it just kind of looks like folds, and that's more common in the Taijasa Prakriti. The dravya of substance choice here would be Vidanga and Amalaki. It's a great combo for the Dipaniya and Rechika karmas. And then lastly, we have the Tridanda for this Prakriti, which includes black grapes, kale, purple carrots for Hitta Ahara, Ahita Ahara, vinegar, shellfish, and cheese. And for Nidra, mental state, important to remain flexible. The more control over that, the more control over everything else. And that includes also controlling sensations of anger, which will go a long way. And lastly, we have the Parthiva Prakriti. Primary dosha involved is Shleshmaka Kapha, the resilient agility. Pachaka Agni gets affected, so it hampers the ability to process the gross particles. Main creamy or interstitial pathogens, and those could be parasites or fungus, bacteria, aerobic, anaerobic, or gram-positive, gram-negative. Anubandha karana is the vritti, mental fluctuations, including being in a state of vikalpa or just always regretting things, even if, took some food, regret it, did something, made a decision, regret it, just always in regret. Oh, I should have done this, or it could have been like this. So just remaining in the past accumulates, and it also lends to the forced cause, viprakrishta karana, of apasmara, in the form of just being careless about the nutritional value of food or not having a relationship with it, just forgetting what the relationship was. For example, healthy foods or unhealthy foods, just, kind of being careless and disregarding sensations of food. For example, I felt this way when I ate that, so let me avoid it this time. There's more of a careless nature that arises, and it's kind of like a snowball effect as we go. To the right horizontally, the main dhatu involved here is Asti dhatu, the interstitial fluids. The main kavigunya usually happens to be the platysma muscle, which is right here. So you can see the fat just kind of accumulates right under the neck area. And then the main srotas, astiva srotas. Agati generally is the mesenteric veins, which is right on top of the belly area. And the bhavas, flappy skin, among others, but that is the main one for Parthiva Prakriti. The Indriyartha Vikritis are a loss of connection, just feeling the loss of connection not only with the food, but also with the body, and also with others as well. The Angavaya Viprakriti, jiggly arms, are very common for this Prakriti. Of course, it can accumulate in other places, but predominantly first in this area. The dravya of choice here is Kanchanara Gugulu, which is excellent for the Lekhaniya and Virachaniya karmas. Lastly, we have the Tridanda. Hitahara include carrots, celery, and lychee. Ahitahara include mushrooms, potato, and cauliflower. Yep, potatoes, so that includes potato chips, potato fries, etc. Mental state here includes tamas, balance. So maintaining the balance, not only in decisions of the food, but also non-extreme decisions in terms of relationships, work decisions, social decisions, family decisions, etc. Maintaining a balance among the priorities in life is important, and recognizing those priorities first and foremost. And lastly, for Parthiva Prakriti, the Brahmacharya in the form of controlling the sense of greed. So having a big heart again. And that can come to food too. If you're sitting at dinner and there's just a little bit of something left and a family member likes it, being able to offer it to them and not just kind of thinking about yourself or ourselves. So with that, thank you so much for tuning in. Namaste.